Alrighty folks, thank you very much for joining me. Why is my camera not working? That's annoying. Didn't we have this last week? Well, while I get that sorted out, thank you very much for joining me. I see the boss is in the house, the Meeple Palace. Thank you very much for being here. Keeping an eye on me, making sure I'm doing a good job. As always, and Jeff and Nate, thank you very much for coming along. I am looking for my camera. There it is. Why is that not working? Let's have a look and see if I can see why that's not working. That's not the one that I wanted to show you. And that one's not working, so I don't know what's going on there. We have a camera issue tonight, folks. So I am going to use this one, which is there, and I will move it if you'll come with me. And hopefully you guys will see it okay. Oh! Pop that there. There we are. Let's move the one that's not working out of the way. Oh, there we are. Right, let's use that one. There. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to have to go through all of the scenes now just to make sure that they're working. So that one's working okay. And we will have a look at this one as well. There we are. Alright. Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. As always, this is Terraforming Games and I'm Bases of Operations. And yeah, come with me and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Bethesda's imagination, but I'm turning it into an awesome D&D campaign. My players did play their first game on Saturday just gone, so I will tell you how that went. And I'm sure Jeffrey in the chat will be able to tell you how good it went for him, because he's one of my players and he's getting the inside peek at seeing what's coming up ahead of him. But yeah, we'll get on with that. And my players didn't quite get as far as I was hoping they were going to get on. Let me just give you a quick view about session number 1. Shall I show you this? Look, this is session number 1, and this is 5 pages long. And as some of you may remember, we enter Skyrim and we play the game, and I have some players that were arrested and they were about to be executed. As anybody who's played Skyrim knows, a dragon saves your life. And so my players did that. They decided they did choose Rayloff, which is very good for me because it kind of helped me with, I don't have to worry about finding what my players would have done when they get to Riverwood and deal with Hadvar's contacts, which is helpful. So that's one of the things I don't need to worry about. So we went through all of that, and we did manage to get into some fighting. My session notes have changed very slightly. I do have my song list here so that I could change the music as and when I needed to. And I did add a little picture. These are the pictures that I took when I was creating the battle maps. I took some pictures and then I've put them into my session notes just so that I can see how big my maps were going to be. And my players managed to get to this combat. Not all the way, which is unfortunate because they have all of this left to go, as well as I did break down at the end of session. So I do need to add that into my session notes for session number 2. And if you remember, I did leave a little bit of space at the top of session number 2 last we left off. So that's what I'm going to do, and it's not last we left off, it's last we left off. So I will type that in later on. Let me just see if I'm missing anything in the chat. We're saying hellos, thank you very much for joining me. You're looking good, looking forward to what Terraforming Games are about. Sorry if I'm out of the loop or late in the game, but I'm just going to go with the flow. That's pretty much what I'm going to do here. But if anybody wants to know what Terraforming Games is all about, it is about me playing Skyrim, the video game, and transforming it, or dare I say terraforming it, into a D&D 5th edition campaign. That's pretty much what it is. And then my fellow family members come around and we play D&D and we see if it works. And then if it does work, further down the line, I will be bringing it to the Meeple Palace as the Dungeon Master as well, where we will play it live on stream. Not with my family, but with the other Meeple Palace cast members. So Let's have a look. Loved it. You know, the usual way into a session. Cure of the DM, but at the same time, your prep is ahead. Absolutely, my prep is very much ahead. I know that the very first half of our next game is already prepared. I just need to shift it across and also share what's going to happen for the rest of it, but it does mean that I do have that extra time. I think once I get to Riverwood, it's going to mostly be a lot of role playing anyway, so that's helpful. So, you know, talking to people, I don't think there's going to be too many conflicts and fighting in session number 2, so that should be okay. It has to work. Please work. It's working okay, so we should be okay. We're alright. So, let me give you a slight rundown as I write the last we left off moments of the game. So, last we left off, half. That isn't brilliant because that means that my camera died. That's not helpful. The camera cancelled itself out, so let me just have a look here. Seeing if I can bring it back. Can I bring it back? Oh, actually, no, that one's working now. Oh, excellent. There we go. That's fine. Alright. Don't panic. Alright, so, last we left off, half of our party found themselves in jail for crimes they may or may not have committed. They all found themselves being congregated outside of Helgen Keep, where they were to be executed. Such a happy story to be telling. I wonder if your group beats our horde group in RP procrastination, loitering in an area for many sessions with the DM gritting teeth. Get moving. I have so many cool stories to show you. You know what the thing is? I think the problem with the Skyrim campaign as a whole is that it kind of needs to be procrastinated. They need to essentially farm their XP, just generally because of dragons. I mean, they can't be taken on dragons too quickly. But the story revolves around dragons and fighting them. So it's kind of one of those stories where, you know, to procrastinate early on is going to help them a lot because they need to get up to those higher levels. So I kind of hope, let me move this camera because there's a wire going across my screen. Yeah, I'm hoping that they will kind of procrastinate and, you know, they talk to everyone. The thing is with the way that I'm doing it, because I'm playing a video game, I don't have to really create NPCs on the spot because the NPCs are already built into the video game. So it's kind of helpful there because I won't need to worry about creating story hooks for them because Bethesda has already done that. So that's helpful. They witnessed a few members of the Stormcloak Rebellion arrive alongside the other half of the party, among which was Ulfric, Stormcloak, Jarl of Windhelm, and leader of the Storm cloaks. I am good at drinking, lots of skooma, so maybe I might finish up with an intervention of sorts. Well, we'll see how that goes. What did you think of your character and story for this first session, Jeffinator? Yeah, I'd be interested to know how you felt that the first session went. Because so you fell into it real easy. Okay, so what did they do next? They were witness to the execution of one of the Stormcloaks when suddenly an ancient black dragon attacked the keep. After which there was much confusion. Most, if not all of the prisoners escaped, and with the help of a new ally found in Rayloff, a member of the Stormcloaks, our party found themselves down deep inside the keep of Helgen, fighting their way past a few Imperial guards along the way. My character was easy to match myself with a few extras that I loved in the original game, so I am a little biased in that, but I am loving the creativity that comes with this. This is our world, not Skyrim's. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the story is based in Skyrim, and I'm using the Skyrim game as a baseline, but with any luck, yeah, you should be able to turn it into yourself. There's certainly things that you're going to be able to do that you can't do in the actual game, and hopefully I'll be able to change some things and you'll have some different outcomes perhaps, as well as once, of course, as the DM become more confident in the world and I learn more about the game of Skyrim, more than just a passing enjoyment of playing it. Once I start really understanding the world and the different connecting threads of web that come through, yeah, hopefully I'll be able to change the story, and perhaps the story might even turn out completely different from what it is in the game. We just have to see how it is. I mean, to start with, of course, I'm playing through it, I'm keeping close to the script, understanding what's going on, but yeah, hopefully as time goes on we may start veering off and it might even become an entirely different story altogether, but we'll have to see how it goes. So, I'm getting that sound like there's talking going on, but like a distorted frequency. It's a little noticeable. It's not the printer, is it? Not unless somebody's talking outside. Hang on. No, somebody could be talking in the house. I don't think I have anything open that should be creating noise. So let me just do that just to be on the safe side. I'll mute Discord. Same noise on Roll20 from last week. On Roll20. Huh. So it's something my end then. I am not sure what it is. Our party finds itself now in a large room, having dispatched a couple of guards and now I will and just to remind myself, ask the party what would they like to do. There we are, just to remind myself. So that's pretty much what they managed to get done in the first session. My mic is picking up stuff. It's static, not ambient. Could it be that I need to add a filter? Hang on a second. Let me add one of these. Whoops. Let me add one of those. How does that sound? Is that any better? Or has it disappeared? I don't know if it helps or if it's made it worse, perhaps. It's a bit better. I don't know. It could be picking up some of the printer as well, which is just off here. Still some weird watery static noises. You know what? People keep saying I hear water coming from my and I have no idea where it's coming from. It's weird. I think I need a new mic, but unfortunately I just can't afford a new mic. So I do apologise about that. Once I get the game going, hopefully it'll kind of counteract it. I haven't even loaded the game up yet. It's not ambient, it's mic-ish. It's from the mic. As in it's picking up water, or the mic is making it sound like there's water. Right, what I need to do now is I need to pick up session number 1. Is my mic muting or is it always on? My mic is always on. I don't change it at all. Right. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm literally going to copy and paste what they have not yet done in because when you talk it's worse than when you're quiet. I use Reaper. I can show you how to set up real easy, and will filters should be peachy. Yeah, put it back on to my last setting. What, get rid of that last filter that I just put on? There you go. Gremlins and the mic. Yeah, probably. Is it doable? Is it serviceable? You can deal with it as it is. Okie dokie. So yeah, so basically there was another combat that they need to do, and they will continue on through there. It's doable. You can deal with it. Okay, so we're not going to have end of session here. We're just going to have a short thing here. You think it's just about doable? Once I get the game, actually, I'll tell you what I can do. Right? Let me just bring up gameplay. Let me just bring this up a second. What we can do. That's helpful. Let us load this up. Oh, look at this. Might be a bad connection. It could be. Let me just change this mic. Why is that not working? In the wiring of the actual thing. Alright, I'm not sure why the mic's not, why the device isn't working on there. I'll just come here, that works okay. And that's working okay, so I'm gonna have to have a look at the mic, at the camera at some point as well, but I'm not sure why that's not working, so you don't get to look at my gorgeous face right now, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, once the music kicked in, was that a bit easier to deal with though? Oh, look, my computer's not going to work now. Let's have a look. There we go. Come on, open up. Point leaves. Because you can't see my face. There we are. So, hopefully with some music and some talking, hopefully it sounds a bit better. Maybe with some other noises going on, it kind of cuts out some of that noise. So we have chirping. That's better. All right. So what we're going to do now is, so yeah, obviously this would have been at the end of the session, but instead they get to the end of Helgen. We've got this in there just to remind myself. Current time of day is approximately midday. Estimated time of arrival will take them about 6 hours to travel to Riverwood from Helgen. XP breakdown, which I will be removing now. I did put this at the bottom of my last session. I don't know if you guys actually saw it. I don't think I did. So the XP breakdown I removed for seeing Alduin arrive. We've done that for successfully jumping from the tower. Fight 1, Fight 2. We get rid of that. We will have this, but I do need to cut this. I will highlight that for now because I will cut that out and I will tack that on to the end of the next session. So that's helpful. Can't hear the noise at all now. That's good. But if you want any of you that need your mic quality up, I can talk you through Reaper's setup. Any input and filter background, noise gate and other equalizers to make your sound more sexy. That would probably be helpful. Yeah, I mean that might be helpful at some point, especially considering I think it's okay when we do the game streams, but I'm not sure about you know, when I'm doing my own. I do have sound issues, and it's a cheap mic. It's only a newer thing. It cost me about 20 quid. So, we have the short rest outside of Helgen. We're going to do the whole, you know, having a look. But now we can continue on with what's going on here. That's my dog barking. So what I've done so far is that they go to the inn and they talk. When they wake up, they go and talk to Gerda. And we also have the slight side quest with the love triangle, which is helpful. And we also have them going to see Camilla and starting off the Golden Claw mission. However, that is not the only thing that there is to do in Riverwood, which is why last I left off, you saw me save it when I got to the bridge outside Riverwood. However, when I come back to the gameplay, you should be able to see, let me just bring it up here, where is it? There. When it loads, I have returned to, it's not showing up now, is it? Look at this, it's not showing up. Why are you not showing up? You are being really annoying. Oh, now it is. Okay. Let's have a look. Where is it now? Ring of Mara. No, not a Ring of Mara. Not right now. We have having a chat with. I've come back into town now after what's it? This should be Camilla actually coming back from where I left her.
Mara bless you for agreeing to help us.
Yeah, I will help you. It's just I've got other things to do. So, what we're going to do now, we've spoken to Hilda. What we do want to do now is we want to talk to Alvor, who, if the party had come out of Helgen with Hadvar, we would have spoken to Alvor. But
whatever
instead,
you need, buy me smear if it's simple and strong. I can forge it.
Yeah. So we're not going to worry about what he's got for sale, because I don't think my party's going to be buying anything anytime soon. They don't have the gold. We're not going to ask him whether he needs any help around the forge, because it helps in the gameplay, but I don't really need to worry about it in the campaign. But we can listen to some of the things he says here.
Gerder's family first settled here as woodcutters a few generations ago.
Unfortunately, that was my computer saying that it needed to go back to Windows 7 Basic. There we are. Gerda's family first settled here as woodcutters a few generations ago.
She and Hod run the mill. I make a decent living sharpening axes and fixing the sawmill.
There we are. He doesn't really have a lot to say.
I see no harm in it, if you have the skill. The grindstone will improve your weapons. Use the table to improve your armor. If you've got the raw materials, you can use the forge to make something new.
Yeah, so pretty simple stuff. I mean, basically,
Good day.
He's not really going to have a lot to say. Yeah, true, we're going to want to sell, then later learn a craft, optional. Yeah, I mean, D&D works a little bit differently than that. It's not kind of a case of you learn skills, it's kind of a case of are you proficient with those skills? Which, you know, some of you will, some of you won't be. So it's kind of a thing is, yeah, we'll figure it out as you go along. Now, of course, we can't unlock Alvor and Sigrid's house because we don't have him as a friend. We have Hilda's house here. The lumber mill obviously is back there. Riverwood Trader is here, but we can come up here and we can have a look around town, see if there's anybody else. We have some children. See who we have up here.
My father is Alvor, the blacksmith. I'm his assistant. Apprentice.
Yeah.
You're new around here, so I'll go easy on you. But don't get me mad, I'll prank you.
Someday, I'm going to forge my own sword.
Okay, so yeah, kids. They're just kids talking about things. Let's have a look around here. What do we have here? Fayendel's house. We did talk to Fayendel, but that was during the weird love triangle thing, so I'm not so sure how much he'll enjoy talking to me. We have here, we have Sigrid, Alvor's husband.
I think you might be sick.
Well, thank you very much.
Unspoken for, you know, so don't get any ideas.
Oh, steady on there, Les. Wow, I think she's the one getting ideas. Right. And then I believe this should be the house that we can open, Hod and Gerda's house. We can have a look in here. We're not really going to be worried about, you know, the idea of breaking and entering into every house is not the best thing. There's
I
Rayloff.
told you my sister would help us out.
Yes, you did. Let's have a look, see what Rayloff
We'll
says.
show those faithless dogs who this land belongs to. Just head north. Can't miss it. It's the capital of Whiterun Hold. Jarl Balgruuf still hasn't declared for one side or the other. So at least you won't run into any Imperials along the way. Seriously? You don't know? That was Ulfric Stormcloak himself. Right. The leader of our fight against the Empire. I forget that most people don't know what he looks like, except for those Imperial wanted posters. I was assigned to Ulfric's guard. We were on our way to Darkwater Crossing, in the south of Eastmarch. The Imperials were waiting for us. As pretty an ambush as I ever saw. We were outnumbered 5 to 1 at least. Ulfric ordered us to stop fighting. Didn't want us all to die for nothing, I guess. I thought they were taking us south to Cyrodiil. Parade us in front of the Emperor. But then, we stopped in Helgen. And you know the rest.
So it'll be interesting. I'll see if I can try and remember most of that.
What? Oh, hardly. I don't think even Ulfric could pull a dragon out of his pocket. Lucky for us it attacked when it did, eh? I wasn't looking forward to getting a shave from the Imperial headsman.
There we go. Alright, so let's see what the other...
Ulfric.
We
I
did
thought they
order
were
this. I
taking
wonder
us
if we're
south
gonna-
to Cyrodiil.
No, we don't. Well, okay, we're not
Parade
gonna...
us in front of the Emperor.
It's not going to tell us about getting the... oh, here we go.
Oh, right. They said you were captured crossing the border. Still, I'm surprised you haven't heard of Ulfric. He's our leader. The leader of the Stormcloaks. Surely, even down in Cyrodiil, people have heard news of the war in Skyrim. The Nords are tired of spending our blood fighting the Empire's wars. And paying for the Empire's decadence with our taxes. Ulfric is our rightful High King. He's leading the fight to drive the Empire out of Skyrim, once and for all.
Alright, so that's a lot for me to try
I'm
and
going to rest
remember.
up here a while before heading to Windhelm.
We have Hod in here as well, so we will talk to Hod in a second, but I do want to see if I can try and get as much of that written out as possible. What we got here? Oh, that's session number 1, so I can close that now. I want to discard the changes because I actually want to keep the changes that I did. I don't want to get rid of the changes. So we have, this is what we've done at the end. However, what I want to do, if the party continue, whoops, oh yeah, I will put it in bold. If the party continues to wander around in Riverwood, then they can find a few characters wandering around. Alvor is working in his forge. Sigrid, his wife, tending gardens, and we can find Rayloff. Let's put that in capitals. Rayloff, the party's ally, can be found in I can never remember how to spell her name. I think it's Gerda. Where Hod can also be found. If the party talks to Alvor, he can tell them. No, he knows, because it depends on what is asked of them. Gerda's family was the first to settle and build Riverwood. The family were wood choppers, and the surrounding woods are great for anything from building materials and day-to-day living. He himself is the blacksmith, sharpening axes and the saw of the mill. However, times are busy, as he also now creates weapons for the Imperials. He also sides with the Imperial Army. If the party is courteous, he will allow use of his forge. On to the 15th video calling app. Oh damn, that's a lot of video calling apps. We will talk to if the party hunts down Ralof. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Trying to get rid of that. That's what I wanted. Right. Now, I gotta try and remember what it was that Ralof was talking about. I wonder, actually, if I bring up a web page and we have a look at the Skyrim wiki, which is, I love finding this thing because it's one of the fandom wikia pages, which is great. We can possibly find Ralof, who is here. Interactions, unbound. We're not unbound at the minute. Dialogue. Let's see this. Inside the keep. Approaching the torture room. We don't know. After storming. Before the storm. Let's have a look. Okay, so this is about, actually I'm going to just go copy and paste this. So this is about the, what we just talked about, actually. So we can, what am I looking for here? We can sort out the formatting here. Put it as black, there we are. So yeah, what was the dragon on your side? Do you think Ulfric knows where the dragon comes from? Why were you going to be executed? Which is one of the questions I asked him. About whether they pay for current, you don't know. Who are the Stormcloaks? How did you end up as an Imperial prisoner? Do you really think we should join with Stormcloak? How do I join? You make a good case, maybe I'll go to Wimcote. I'll have a think about it. So yeah, I mean, that's a fairly decent conversation that the party could have with him, just trying to figure out some information about, you know, what's Wagwan, man, you know, because everything just kind of went ass over TKL. Right. So that's if they locate Ralof. Talk to Alvar, talk to Ralof. Sigrid won't really give them much time of day, but she's tending some gardens. And we can also put in here. Nope. What does Hod know? So that's where we come back to the game. I really need a drink. I haven't had a drink. Get a drink loaded up. Right, let's have a look. Let's go talk to Hod. Let's see what Hod talks about.
So you saw a dragon, did you? Tell me, what was it like? As big as a house? Don't even say such things. I hope that dragon stays away from Riverwood. We don't need that kind of trouble. Here for work? Get an axe and bring me all the wood you can chop. I've got enough to worry about, taking care of my family. I don't concern myself with such matters.
Interesting, so he doesn't care much for the war.
I've got enough to worry about.
But of course, again, when you play the game, you only get, when he talked about the dragon, you only got one option. So this is why I do like using the Wikia, because that will allow me to have a look at the various NPCs and see exactly what the options were that we could take. So we can have a look at Hard. Here he is down here. So here we go. So you saw a dragon, did you? Tell me, what was it like? As big as a house? I don't really want to talk about it. He's kind of compassionate about that. It's much bigger than that, as big as the inn. And he's kind of awed by it. See one soon. What do you think about the war? So there we go. That's pretty much it. So he doesn't really have a lot to say, but again, I do try and keep have a look at most of this, and some of the times I will ad-lib some of this. It's just a case of as much as I can get as many of these notes as I can. I kind of skip over a lot of things as well. While I was playing the other day, on Saturday, I kind of skipped over some of it because it was kind of didn't have the attention of the table. But if I have these notes, if they really want to, you know, the guys have got something to say, so you know they're alive. They're not just computer game broke people. So during the war, shut up, Albert. Yeah, but he doesn't want to. He doesn't really care much about the war, so that's helpful. He doesn't get to talk about much about it. So there we have as much talking as can be done. And if they spend all that time in Riverwood, that might even be the end of the session. But if they don't, I do need to kind of consider where are they going to go from there. So the notes are not finished yet. His response is almost the same as in each option. It kind of is. I mean, the thing is, if you don't want to talk about it, it's just like, okay, I understand, yo, but you know, it's kind of cool that you did see one. If you did see, he's going to be in awe, and it would be like, wow, that's really cool, but actually maybe I don't want to see one because it's dangerous. And yeah, if you maybe you'll see it, it's like maybe not, because that wouldn't be cool. The big question here is there a very strong barbarian called Thok around? No, there isn't. I did get the reference. That was an Only Fools and Horses reference, I think. No, put my foot in it. No, but there isn't a very strong barbarian called Thok around. But I don't know. Maybe the party will meet Thok. It's kind of cool. They might even meet a Rogar. I'm just saying. I mean, I have these characters who have a story. It could be. You know, they could meet one. So. Alright, so I'll let you go about the business. Now, one thing I do need to do, actually, and I did highlight them at the top here. We have a list of NPCs here. Lucan, Camilla, Sven, Hilda, and Feyendal. These don't have character sheets yet. I do need to give them character sheets, and I do have a character sheet here, waiting to add them in. Most of these guys are they're just going to be commoners. I mean, Lucan, Camilla, Sven, Hild, all 4 of those will be commoners, and to be honest with you, they will have exactly the same character sheet. I just need to change their name. Feyendal, on the other hand, I might give it a little bit of a different character sheet, because he is technically somebody who can be an ally and a follower, and I don't want him to just be, you know, as helpful as a wet paper bag. So we'll see about that one. A random encounter table for a barbarian digging a hole for treasure. that would be exactly what he's doing. I'm looking for treasure. Where's the treasure? Yeah, maybe. I will have to put a Thok in there somewhere now. Easter eggs. Maybe I'll just do it for the TMP campaign though. I won't do it for the ones in my home game, because they won't get the reference, and it's just like it would just be for my pure enjoyment. Likewise, most of the family, I mean Jeff does sometimes watch the games, but Jeff will watch some of the Meeple Palace D&D games, but not all of them, and most of my other players don't really watch them. So maybe I'll just do it for the Meeple Palace. So when you say commoners, you mean NPC equivalent. Well, so what happens in D&D is, let me bring up the monster manual. Here we are. So yeah, it's basically, this is a commoner in D&D. They have an hour class of 10, they have like 4 hit points. They're really not tough, but they do have skills, because when you are talking to them, you know, you can lie to them, you can persuade them, you can fight them, you can basically interact with them as real people. And in D&D, I mean, they need to have a skill so that if you wish to lie to them, for argument's sake, they need to also be able to make an insight check on you to see if you're lying. And to do that, they need skills. So yeah, I mean, they're commoners because basically, yeah, they are characters, but they have no hit points, and yeah, they are about as useful as a chocolate teacup. But it means that, you know, they need to have skills. So basically what will happen is, if I bring up the NPC sheet here, what I could do is I will do one of them. I will do Lucan for argument's sake. So Lucan here, we have Lucan here, we have his class, and he is a commoner. Level 1 is not that great. Player name I don't need to worry about too much. He is a human. And his alignment is lawful good. His alliance group, none. He is just a human who works in a store. All of a commoner's skills would be 10, especially these standard commoners that really don't have anything in terms of fight in them, which would mean that all of the all of the rolls that they make will be at +0. Much like what you did when you create your own character sheets, depending on what score is in here, depends on what the modifier is, and in this case it's +0. It doesn't have any kind of proficiencies, although I will give him, and what I do need to do is, if I come up to this, I just need to, I tell you what, let's bring up Jeff's character here. There we are. Still at maximum hit points, by the way. I will point out that my characters hardly took any damage in the game. In fact, the only damage they did take is that one of my players decided that when they were being escorted from the prison, they tried to fight and run away and got shot in the back with an arrow. And lost a couple of hit points for that. And I can't remember where the other one did, what the other one happened. I'm not sure about that. Will I allow murder? Yes. However, I would suggest against it. Because, of course, if you start killing everyone, one, you're going to be arrested. And you could be executed for your crime. Which you won't get any saves from. If you're, if you get arrested, you'll be arrested and executed and your character will be dead. And you don't know how important anybody is. So yes, murder is possible, much like in any D&D game. Anything is possible, but just you have to kind of think your way through it, because it might not be a good idea. But what I do need to do is I just want to have a look at what the skills are. Yeah, I don't remember all of these skills right now. And we have insight here. Which is evolves about check decides whether you can determine the true intention of a creature, such as when searching out a lie or predicting somebody's next move. Doing so involves gleaning clues from body language, speech habits, and changes in mannerisms. So, I am going to give my NPC here. Hang on a minute, I've just lost that. It's a wisdom check, so I'm going to make him proficient in wisdom saving throws. And I'm also going to have insight is going to be +2. Just purely for the fact that he's a shopkeeper, and I want him to be able to kind of check these things. So his wisdom saves is going to be +2, but everything else is going to be +0. Not particularly the most balanced thing in the world. Just by grabbing a single thing, most of the time you'll be proficient in one or two things, but I think he's going to be alright. So he's going to be insight is +2. After looking at the extras that you are required to add in this, I agree. Sorry, you're a bit slow at times. No worries. It's fine. That's kind of the whole point of this show, is that for some people who might want to do this for themselves, or want to learn more about what goes into into creating a campaign, then yeah, this is great. Questions like that are always welcome. So what I'm going to do is I am going to look at my monster manual. Hit points of 4, armor class of 10, speed is 30 foot, 10 across the board. Passive perception is 10. So we can go down to here. Passive wisdom is 10, so if you want to lie to him, you just got to beat a DC 10, which isn't that difficult. Although wisdom, this particular person is proficient in various wisdom, so I'm going to give him a +2 to that. So his passive wisdom is going to be 12. Just so that if you want to lie to him, if you're going to lie to some guy in the street, it'll be 10, but you want to lie to the shopkeeper, that that something's more precious or valuable than it already is, the DC is slightly higher, but on the whole it's not going to be that great. I'm not going to worry about equipment because it's a shop. His equipment changes all the time. However, he can grab a club, which is going to be a melee attack +2 to hit. So we will go to here. His name is Club. Attack bonus is +2, And the damage that it takes is not going to be a lot. It's 1d4 bludgeoning damage, which I will grab that and then remove the brackets because I'm lazy and I can't be bothered to run. Oh, I need to come in there. There we are. 1d4 of bludgeoning. There we go. That's a bit better. I can read that now. Plus 0 because his strength is 0. It will be it is a strength-based thing, but it's not going to be worth much. So there we are. That is going to be Lucan. It's as simple as that, and I can then print that off and be done with it. Now, I did say somebody else was going to be slightly different, Fayendal. I will do that some other time, so I need to figure out exactly what he's going to be. He is an archer of some description. But what that would require me to do is have a look through the monster manual and see if I can find something that would suit him. He's certainly not, I don't think he's a gladiator per se. I mean, what's his armor class is 16, studded leather. I don't think that's going to be that great. He's not really a guard, and he certainly doesn't wear chainmail. He's more of he is a ranger of some description. He could be a scout. That would be interesting. If I make him a scout's advantage on wisdom perception checks. Short sword, longbow. Scouts are skilled hunters, trackers who offer their services for a fee. Most hunt wild game, but a few work as bounty hunters, serve as guides, or provide military reconnaissance. That, on the other hand, sounds exactly like Fayendal. So that might be who I make Fayendal is. He'll be a scout. The trouble is I can't really do that. I need to print that off before I can clear it because I can't. Yeah, it's a pain in the butt. So we're going to leave that for the time being. I will make him a scout though, I think, because I don't really think he's going to have. Yeah, there's not really anything else in the monster manual. There might be something in other books, but I do have Volos up here. I've got Xanathar's and Mordenkainen's Tomb of Foes. I'll have a look, see if I can find something that fits him better, but for now I think Fayendal will be a scout. Oh no, that is everything I need to do in Riverwood. So all of this now is locked in. This is what Riverwood has to offer, and it's a lot. So I do need to figure out exactly what I want to do next. Maybe someone who makes your life's journey difficult would be good. Well, that's what the players are for. They make their own journeys difficult. So let us now get cracking back on into the story, because we've done plenty of chatting about what can and can't be done. Now I think it's the time. So what we could do is that my party, once they've done that, the only things that they have from Riverwood they can do right now.
I'm glad to help any way I can.
Thank you very much. So now what they can do, that's the right look. There's the south exit to town. Funny enough, don't need to go that way, but I didn't realise that was there. Wow. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we are going to head here. Now my party has 3 things that they can do once they leave Riverwood. They can go to Bleak Falls Barrow, which is up there somewhere. We'll find that in a minute. This is where Camilla dropped us off. So we can go to Bleak Falls Barrow that way, or we can go to Whiterun that way. So, lurk mode till you pass out. Great stuff as always, Bases. Thank you very much, Point, for the lurk. Thank you very much for joining me and joining in. So what we're going to do is we're not going to carry on going to Whiterun, because that's main story quest. So I don't really want to be doing that just yet. I want to go up to Bleak Falls Barrow, so we will follow the trail northwest-ish, and we will do up there. So we will climb up here, and what do we have here? We have a wolf. There we go. So we can cross the river and up into the mountain pass. The path follows. There's only the one path up through this mountain, which is helpful. Again, telling my party that, you know, if they want to go this way, it's a simple track. They're not going to get lost. and they just have to follow it up through the mountains. The terrain is rocky, reasonably barren, and as they start getting higher, of course, the air starts getting thinner and colder, and the snow is on the ground. Now we're going to play around with time a little bit because, of course, so far the party have only just woken up, and to be honest with you, Riverwood is like right there, and we're climbing a mountain all the way up to Bleak Falls Barrow. So we will play with time a little bit. We'll say that this is going to take a few hours probably, because, you know, who wants to be able to get to where they want to go straight away? Now what do we have here is not Bleak, this is not Bleak Falls Barrow, but it is bandits. Look at this. Come on then.
You picked a bad time to get lost.
I'm not lost.
That's your best, huh?
There it is. Come on. Come on, you want some? Oh, I missed. There we go. Finish her. Got fur stuff on. I don't need fur. Come on then.
Finish this! It's nothing! You ready to die today, huh?
Well, that's not very nice. Right, let's just put that on. There we go. Yeah, come on. You can't do that to me. Look, come on. You missed.
I swear I'll kill you.
Yeah, good luck with that, love. So murder is a yes. Well, yeah. I mean, to be honest with you, these are bandits. They're not NPCs per se. They are just bandits. All right. So there is a difference between just murdering townsfolk and bandits. Yeah, I would advise against murdering, you know, townsfolk. But yeah, while you're going around, you can find your way into various other places such as this, have your search around, you know, clear out a few bandits, gain up some XP. You know, I mean, you will need to you will need to be careful about falling into the trap of becoming what we call a murder hobo, which is basically you just go around and just kill everything you see, because that would be that kind of gets boring as a game. It's nice to come up with interesting ways of ending a conflict with somebody. I don't even know where we are right now. Where are we right now? Oh, it's just random thing halfway up. Right, okay, so it's a random thing halfway up, which is some old tower, which is going to be interesting. So we can throw in this, and this will slow the game down a bit actually. This will probably give me the opportunity to break up Bleak Falls Barrow from Session 2 into Session 3. Because this will, you know, that is a tower, you can get attacked from it. There's nothing in there but for a bit of gold, you know, that they've decided that they're hoarding in here. Maybe a magical item, we'll see. So that's handy. There was a handful of bandits in there, which is great. And then we can arrive to the top of the hill, which is absolutely heaving. There we are, and we get up to Bleak Falls Barrow up here. So we can go through here. Let's see what we've got on the outside of Bleak Falls Barrow. I believe there are still some bandits outside Bleak Falls Barrow. Yes, there is. I wonder if I've still got that bow and arrow. I don't want to embarrass myself by dying every 5 minutes, so I wonder if I should change to my bow and arrow. I do have a longbow. Alright, yeah, we'll do that. I don't embarrass myself by dying every time I try and do anything like this. My sneak sucks, look at that. They know I'm here. Yeah, that's not gonna work, is it? Alright, fine. Why do I have a war axe? That's just ridiculous. Alright, fine. Let's do it the old-fashioned way. Come on, then. Really? There you go. Right. What? Where did... You son of a... Get here. Why are you still creeping? Come here. Keji, come here. Right. What have you got on you? Hunting bow. Well, that's a bit better than the... I think that's a bit better than the longbow. Let's see what he had on him. He's got some gold. I think I need a great sword. I don't really want to be carrying a two-handed weapon, so... is this game you're playing from Steam or direct from disc? I think I'm playing it direct on my... from downloaded on my computer. Ouch. Wow, that was a bit overkill. I think I'm playing it direct from my computer, but I'm not sure. It might be on Steam. I'm not 100% sure. So there we are. So that's clearing out the front. Let me just double check to make sure we've got nothing lying around. So I don't want to load up a game or come back into it and get my ass handed to me by more bandits. I do believe this is it. Yep, we're all good. Excellent. Alright, so let us... Oh, how do I run? I've forgotten how to run. I've forgotten how to run. That's... Oh, there we go. Okie dokie, so... That is the arrival of Bleak Force Barrow, which is helpful. So, what we can do now is go to this. So now the party can choose what they wish to do. They can travel north to White Run and alert the Jarl of the Dragon, or they can take a short detour to Bleak Falls Barrow and retrieve the golden claw for Is it Lucas? Is it Lucas or Lucius? I've forgotten his name now. I'm glad I did an NPC. I'm glad I did an NPC sheet for him. Lucan. So I got it kind of right. Got it kind of right. Okay, Steve. Well, I'm going for R&R. Chat tomorrow. You're epic, dude. Love everything you're doing online. Thank you very much, Jeffrey. Thank you for hanging around, and I'll see you when I see you next. Alright? Thank you very much. Go and enjoy your rest. So they can now go to Bleak Falls Barrow. Out. If the party chooses to go to Bleak Falls Barrow, they cross the river on the north end of... Actually, it's technically the east end, isn't it? Is it the east end? No, it's the northern north end. So they woke up in the bar, and then they could probably have spent a few hours talking to people around town, and even if they didn't, it will still be about midday by the time they leave Riverwood, because the DM controls time. So as it's you get such a god complex for being the dungeon master, it's ridiculous. As it's almost midday, the skies are clear and the air is warm. The trail up the mountain is pleasant. There is the odd rabbit hopping through the grass. Occasionally you'll see a wild goat casually sitting, no, it'd be standing precariously, I can't spell, but that's close enough, on a sheer cliff face. DM, aka the time taker. Yeah, we must talk to the rabbit and the goat, important NPCs. I am so glad there is not a druid in my party right now. I wish to speak with animals. Okay. And what would you like to talk? What would you like to say to the goat? You alright there, mate? Meh. I'm fine. Just chilling. It's a nice view. Meh. Alright. Did you see a dragon come by? Meh. What's a dragon? Oh dear. Wow. You know, one of you on the Meeple Palace, when I bring Skyrim, you're going to be a druid, aren't you? One of you are going to be a druid, and you're going to talk to every rabbit and goat you find. I wish to make a perception check. Oh dear, you clipped it. I wish to make a perception check to see if there is any rabbits nearby. Yeah. What's up, duck? Right. Alright, so, so if they left at midday, I want it to be kind of, I mean, the fighting at low levels, I want to kind of spread out. So they're going to have 3 bandits at the tower, and they're going to have 3 bandits at Bleak Falls Barrow on the outside. So if I give them 3 hours to climb up the mountain, this is why I'm saying I'm playing around with the time a bit. So about 3 hours into the trek, you see a partially demolished, ruined tower. So now I need to describe a tower, and to be honest with you, I'm not really sure how to describe that in a minute. The sound that's currently playing, which is the wind, is a little bit distracting. So I'm just going to put a placeholder here, and when I've got a bit quieter, I might put in some description here. So a descriptive placeholder, because it's really annoying. However, I will put in here the DC 15 perception check will alert the party of a bandit lookout if they look for it. only if they choose to look for anyone. If they just walk straight up, they're going to get attacked. If they don't see the bandit, they will be set upon when they draw near. And let's face it, this is everybody's favourite words in D&D. Roll initiative. And we will have in here, it will be times 3 bandits. Now, the bandits on the other hand, is only one bandit will be in the fight for the first round. In round 2, you know what? I am going to be mean and I'm going to put 6 bandits on here. I might change that depending on how they needed for. I might need to change it when. So, earlier on in the game, because they didn't get round to it at the beginning of, at the end of last session, we have this set up here. If you remember me building that a few sessions ago. Now this has 6 enemies in it, but they are also aided by Ralof and possibly 3 other NPCs. That should go by without a hitch, and it was designed that way that they're not going to lose too much health, they're not going to find it difficult, they're just going to get through it. It's designed that way because level 1 characters cannot take a beating. Although in Horde of the Dragon Queen we kind of proved it. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 6 bandits here, and if they can deal with that fight well, I'll leave it as it is. If not, I'll probably drop that down a bit. But only 1 bandit will be in the fight for the first round. They should kill that bandit nice and quickly. But in round 2, 5 more bandits will pile out of the tower. Because that's what the bandit was looking out for. If they see the lookout, they can kill the lookout and then they can go in and clear the tower. I'm not going to build the battle mat here tonight because 1, my tiles are all been put away and I'm not so sure I've got the tiles that I need for this. I'm going to have a think about that. I might need to see if I can find some ruined stone tiles and print them off over the next week or so, and I need some more plastic, so we'll see how that goes. So we're not going to do that right now, and I do need some more magnets as well. So anyway, so we will do that. So once they've finished the fight, if the party searches the bodies, they will find 100 gold in total over the 6 bandits. If the party searches the tower, they can find another 100 gold. No, actually they won't find another 100. No, I tell you what they'll do is they will find 30 gold pieces. They'll find 50 gold pieces in the tower. 125 silver pieces and 200 copper pieces. I want to give them some spending money, so that's what they can find. If the party searches the bodies on a DC, this will be quite easy. So DC 5, investigation. They'll find 30. If the party searches the tower, it'll take 30 mins DC, it's going to take them time because the bandits were trying to hide them, so this won't be DC 5, it'll be more like DC 15 investigation. Hopefully get the person who has the investigation to do it. No, I'll tell you what we'll do. DC 10 for 30 minutes. Or 15 minutes. It'll be DC 15 investigation. Yeah, that's what they'll do. And there we are. So that's what they can do. They can spend 15 or 30 minutes to do so, depending on how long they take, depending on how hard it's going to be to find the stuff. It would be nice to see if I could find something interesting, an interesting item. And what we could do is that's where we bring out the old Skyrim book. Because what we could do is I could throw in something that is completely radial or something really late in the game, and then they just pick something up and it goes, I don't know what this is, what is it? And then they can find something and it's just something that's lying around for a long time, and then suddenly it'll actually become important later on in the campaign. So I'm not going to spend hours reading this book right now. So again, what I'm going to do is I will do this off cam. But if the roll for investigation is 20 or above, the party member finds and then placeholder later campaign item. So that means that, you know, I'm going to give them something that's going to seem completely worthless right now. They can either pick it up or they leave it. But if they leave it, they'll probably have to come back and they'll have to remember where they found it. I don't think bandits are going to come back to this place. I'm not going to keep refilling the same towers full of bandits. Most of the time, I mean, that wasn't an actual location on the map, so that will respawn bandits in this game. Most of the time, if you kill the bandit leader in any of the locations, it will clear and it won't respawn anymore. It'll be completely clear, it will stay that way. I'm going to do that for everywhere, hopefully. So this is what they're going to do. So hopefully this is going to take up a bit more time. Remember last week I was saying I was worried about how much time that this show is going to take, or more to the point, how long this session is going to be, because I was thinking that, you know, a lot of the RP that we have here is take it or leave it, and some of it they might not do at all and they'll just skip over it. This is going to help, because I'd forgotten, I mean personally, this is why I'm also playing the game, I'd forgotten that that tower existed. So that tower has really helped add an extra hour to gameplay. And of course, like I said, my party didn't make it to the end of my session 1 notes. My party might not make it to the end of my session 2 notes, but as a DM, and this is a handy little tip for anybody who is a DM, get to know your party, especially in long campaigns as this, because you start to learn what they will and won't do. And this is a typical example of what they will and won't do. If they manage to roll 20 or above an investigation, and you just throw them a piece of junk treasure, something that just is completely irrelevant, some players will throw it away as being worthless because they just want to find gold and they want to find magical items and they want to find quest items. If any of the party members decide to keep it because they never know what's going to happen, you know that what you have on your hands is a party of people who are likely to explore every inch of your story. So therefore your notes need to be shorter, because they're not going to get to everything, unless of course you are only throwing combat at them, and then you kind of get to know how long combat gets to take, and so on. So, you know, as a DM, get to know your party, get to understand What are they going to pick up? What are they going to do? Are they just going to go straight through and just kill everything, or are they going to explore? And this is a kind of example of how to do that, is you just give them something, throw gold at them, throw a bit of money at them, and then throw a piece of junk at them and see what they do. Sometimes a piece of junk, though, is just a piece of junk. Not everything has to be, you can throw in the odd red herring out. But I'm going off on a tangent there. So we finished the combat, and we will continue on up to Oblique Falls Barrow. So they were travelling for about 3 hours, so it's now getting to like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. They might want to take a short rest, so we'll offer the party a short rest in the relative safety of the now clear and somewhat sheltered tower. And why would they want to take a short rest here? The weather. Let's get rid of the cap lock, shall we? The weather begins to turn cold. You hadn't noticed it just yet because you were sidetracked by the bandits' attack, but you look at your feet and ground has some small scatters of snow. You've tracked 3/4 of the way up the mountain and you are heading into colder territory. So that's the wind that I can hear. It's getting cold now. They hadn't noticed it. They were kind of getting up to that point when the tower is, and it could possibly be that that's what the tower's there in the first place. It is the last tower before you get to the top, where you can take that rest and warm up just before you brave the cold tip of the mountain. So this is why we're offering the party the short rest, so that they can huddle up, get warm, and regain some of their health after this attack. I do want it to be quite tough. I do want them to start losing some of their health, because of course, you do want to throw in some, they need to be careful about how they use their spells and their health. So after a short rest, if taken, which I will put in the party continues its trek up the mountain. Up the mountainside, that's cool. Whoops. There we go, that's cool. The weather begins to get colder and the winds get sharper. And this is a perception checks are taken at disadvantage here due to the lower visibility, as the snow from the mountain top is getting lifted and drifting in the winds. Bleak Falls Barrow now slowly comes into view as a dark, ominous shadow above you, a few hundred feet higher up the mountain. So, let us, and this is why I paused the game where I did. Whoops, I did it wrong, I shouldn't have done that. I should go to gameplay first, then come to Skyrim. Because this is what I want to do now. I want to get a really good mental image of Bleak Falls Barrow in my mind's eye. So, let's have a look here. Windsor Mountain and then Bleak Falls Barrow is beginning to turn up. So I mean, to be honest with you, it kind of looks like an old chapel, maybe an old cathedral, made of, you know, spines of triangular stone. Are these dragon head motifs? Is that what they are? Or are they horse head motifs? They might be horse head motifs. Look. I think they were horse head motifs, but they're very heavily weathered. And then we have the large stone steps leading up to the barrow itself. So let's see if I can be descriptive. Probably not, but yeah, we'll see. The barrow itself almost looks like an ancient... Got bored, so he came back. Just lurking though, no worries. The barrow itself almost looks like an ancient cathedral with large triangular stone structures extending out from the mountain. Upon the structures there are what seem to be horsehead sculptures. There's snow on the ground. Yeah, there is. There's a lot of snow on the ground. Also sculptures, but heavily weathered from what looks to be ages, generations, centuries of heavy weathering from the high winds. Snow is on the ground everywhere here. Mostly ankle deep, but to be careless, it would be easy to find oneself waist deep in a snowdrift. Eons, yes. Eons, I like that. Eons of heavy weathering. From the high winds, snow is on the ground everywhere here, mostly ankle deep, but to the careless, it would be easy to find oneself waist deep in a snowdrift, or even worse, missing the edge of a off a sheer cliff, no doubt, to certain death, hundreds of feet below. Yeah. Okay. Check the parties. Check the parties there. Passive wisdom. Roll stealth with advantage for nearby enemies. Depending on party's current, what they're currently, on party's current actions, because if the party is saying that they're looking out, if they're looking for enemies, if they're being cautious, I will offer a perception check, but with disadvantage. This is where I'm going to start adding in the kind of the way that the game works. I'm going to add in advantage and disadvantage. I'm going to add in the various mechanics that can help. And I just realised nobody told me that you can't see what I'm writing. Why didn't nobody tell me that you can't see what I'm writing? There we are. So I did all that writing. So what we're going to do, depending on what the party's current actions are, I'm going to offer a perception check, but with disadvantage, because you know, I'm going to add in those mechanics so that they can understand that, you know, depending on where they are, do they need to be being careful? Do they need to tell me what they want to do? You know, of course, the DM can only do so much. Oh, you were listening and crocheting. Ah, there we go. Alright. Jeff didn't tell me that he couldn't see it though, even though I'm writing. And so yeah, so I'll offer them a perception check if they're being careful, but they will need to be taken with disadvantage. And of course, for the third time this game, and will probably be the last, we will throw in everyone's favourite words. Well, certainly my favourite words anyway. And this will be against, again, I will possibly change this depending on what they need, but 6 bandits. If their enemies successfully snuck up on the party, the bandits will get a surprise round, as that is what they were out here to do, is get the jump on anyone who came too close. You were listening, good enough. Alright, fair enough. Yeah, so obviously, you know, I mean, the thing is that if the party is coming up to Bleak Falls Barrow in this way, they are here to come and collect the Golden Claw. These bandits, of course, had the Golden Claw. Perhaps the bandits at the tower were early lookouts to hopefully kind of be the first line of defense. These guys are the second line of defense, so they are going to be looking for people, sneaking up on them to come back and try and get the Golden Claw back. Or they were hired to protect the person who did. So they are going to be here. It's not going to be a surprise if there are ambushes waiting for the party. However, this is what's going to happen. Now again, it's a bit weird because of time and stuff, but of course once the party has hang on, I need to do this way and add in that. Once the party has dispatched the bandits they can find nothing on the bodies bar a handful of gold pieces. I will roll a d20, and that is how much gold they have on them, because they don't have anything on them. It's all, you know, they're near the barrow. That's what they're here for. They don't need to be carrying their gold on them. The party comes across the fire these bandits used for warmth, and the party may take a long rest here as the sun has just dipped below the horizon. I really hope the bandit decides that they want to take that the party want to take a long rest here, because they have just gone through a fight at the tower. They've just gone through a fight here, and no doubt there is going to be more fighting inside. Yeah, I kind of want them to be low on health. I want them to be low on spells. I want them to not feel that they should be able to. You know, this will be the very first dungeon crawl that the party does into Bleak Falls Barrow. So if they decide that they want to start pressing forward, much like Rogar did in Order of the Dragon Queen recently, this is going to be really bad, especially considering the party is going to be level 1, maybe level 2. This is going to be tough, so we do not want them. I do not want them to go pushing it too far into the party, into Bleak Falls Barrow right now. They have not had any extra experience for being here, so this is, yeah, this should be the end of the game here. And it's also long enough, hopefully, that they'll, you know, that will be. This game has 3 fights in it. They didn't manage to get 3 fights last time. Here, there, Jeff. Take a long rest. Absolutely, take a long rest. Do not go running into Bleak Falls Barrow, because you will die. And yeah, take a long rest when you can, especially when the sun has now gone down. Take a long rest. Get to know each other, and then hopefully you can go into the barrow. You know, most of the time you'll notice, and it's something I learned from Critical Role a lot, is that they will often have fights up to and as they travel, but they very rarely will just go straight into where it was they were travelling to. So for argument's sake, if Critical Role was doing this, they would have the fights on the way up to Bleak Falls Barrow, but won't quite go in there yet. They will take a rest, they will get themselves sorted, then they will take the step into the dungeon. They will probably stop once or twice along the dungeon if they need to, but they will stop before they cross the threshold, because they know that it is slightly metagaming, but it's kind of a thing that, you know that once you go into there, you're kind of in there and you can't really turn back, and it's a whole thing. So, oh, excuse me. And I've managed to do that at 10 to midnight, and you know what, this whole time I still didn't actually get myself a drink out, so I will do that now. Off my ass off whiskey. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, take a short rest, take a long rest, sorry, you know, hopefully you just took a short rest after the fight with the bandits. Again, what I might do is I might just increase the difficulty by adding a few bandits. I might add some health to the bandits. I need to have a look at the bandits on the monster manual, which I will need to do at some point. Grab myself some index cards, grab myself some NPC sheets. Again, I'll probably use the not the Dungeon Master Guide, this, and I will find there are some. If we have a look up here, we have bandit captains. Their armor class is 15, so they're going to be pretty tough. Their challenge is 2, 450 experience, so it's going to be tough. And then we have some regular bandits here. Challenge rating is 1/8, 25 XP. They're not going to be much better than a. They're not going to be much better than a commoner, to be honest. They have a handful of hit points. They've got 11, which isn't too bad. My party manages to dish out plenty of damage if they need to. We have a Dragonborn that is akin to Rogar. So we'll probably throw in a couple of bandit captains as well, just to keep them on their toes. So we will see how it goes. But I will make myself some index cards for these, make myself some NPC cards, and what have you. But I think that's going to be the end of today's show. It has been a pleasure having you here with me as we've been playing around. One thing I do want to do first, though, is I don't remember if I showed them off on this show. I know that I did show them in the tapestry, and I painted them on my stream. As many people know, Bases of Operations, twitch.tv/Bases is my personal channel, where I paint and do all sorts of things for this campaign and for other things, and I do various other bits and pieces, and I'm 3D printing a lot of my terrain that I need. And this is one of the pieces that I 3D printed. Thank you very much. I'm still on the process of working on the inside of this thing. There's a couple of bits and pieces needed for this, but we have ourselves a little house here, which is very nice. I'm quite happy about this. My patrons help pay for this, and every month hopefully they will help buy some more, in which case one of my patrons does have his name written on the door, or on the door frame there, which is very, very nice. And then hopefully on Sunday, as I do my painting show, I also have a nice little blacksmith forge. I can take this off because it's not glued on yet, so you can see in there properly. I have a blacksmith forge here that will hopefully get painted up this week, as well as some soldiers, hopefully. So yeah, that's me, and so you can catch me on Sunday nights, where I do my personal show on my personal Twitch channel, which the Meeple Palace has very kindly thrown in the chat for you. Don't forget to catch the Meeple Palace this weekend, tomorrow or Saturday, I can't remember. We're doing a bit of a Halloween special, where we are going to be playing through a one-shot DM'd by the lovely Missy TTV, as well as you can catch us, other than this week, every Friday we can catch the Horde of the Dragon Queen Dungeons & Dragons game going forward. And I will be back coming through, I will be back here next Thursday, 10 PM, where we carry on with my session notes. Maybe I might even get into session notes 3, which would be awesome. Thank you very much, Meeple Palace. Jeffinator, Point, thank you very much for coming tonight. It has been a pleasure. That's my favourite to date, though. Looking forward to the painted version. What's that? The blacksmith forge. Yeah, I'm kind of digging that. I want to see. I've got a bit of an idea what I need to do for the forge itself. So we'll see how that works. So yeah, thank you very much. I'm going to leave it up to Missy T. I don't think we're going to raid tonight. So I will end the stream pretty much as I started it. So thank you very much. I'll be back tomorrow. I will be back on Thursday. Catch the Meeple Palace later on. And don't forget, if you wish to join us, be a part of this growing community, don't forget to check out the Meeple Palace Discord, where I hang around a lot, the Meeple Palace is around a lot, so is everyone else. We'll be happy to have a chat with you. Alright guys, thank you for joining me, and I will catch you next week. Ta-ra.